Hi guys, it's so cold right now. But anyway, welcome to Wednesday, Wacky Wednesday, Wellness Wednesday, whatever you want to call it. I had a wacky day, so I'm just going with Wacky Wednesday. And it's freezing again. Of course, I don't have something thick on my legs either. But whatever, it makes me walk faster. Alright, so today's mindful message is for how to come back from a cheating scandal, but stay together. Trying to save your family, trying to make it. If you're interested, I could do a different video on how to overcome it altogether, like the breakup/divorce. But I know a lot of people out here don't like to give up on their families, especially if you have children, and you should fight for your family despite the odds stacked against you when these things happen. First of all, let's start with I'm sorry that you're in this situation. Regardless of who did what, it's just a shitty spot to be in, especially if you're married with kids, if you live together. So let me give you some advice and hopefully it helps you. I broke it down into 7 steps today on how to overcome it and save your relationship and come out better for it in the end. So let's get into the first one, which is probably the hardest one, to be honest, and the longest to take. Whoever cheated, or if both of you cheated, because I feel like a lot these days it's on both ends, that you get into a relationship and you fall apart and one of you does something and the other one does something because you're like neglecting. It really doesn't matter the why at the beginning. You do want to talk about it, but step 1 is to actually admit it. No more just seeing what they know. No more I'm only going to give them enough. You need to spill the full tea, and even if it's hard to hear and hard to say, you need to ask those questions. And keep in mind, a lot of these things get heated because it's usually you're just finding out or it just happened. But that I need you to be mindful of the fact that you're trying to save your family, and you have every right to be upset and disappointed, but screaming and fighting is only going to make this harder. So if you need to take a break first before this beginning part, as in a couple days to cool off, I would suggest doing that. Now, granted, if they start talking and you need a minute, be like, I heard enough for right now. I don't want to hear any more tonight. Let's pick this up tomorrow. Do that. You don't need to hear it all at once, but confessions need to be made on one or both sides. If you're not happy, but you're not the one that cheated, this would be the time to express that you're not happy, that you've been experiencing things in the relationship too. It's really hard not to let your anger get in the way here, but in hopes of saving your family, you have to tell the hard truth. And if you don't want to hear it at this point, I think that is pretty much leading into part 2 is where you need to start. But for most people, if you're able to sit down and be like, I did this, I made a mistake, they're going to get mad, they're going to get upset, angry words are going to be said. You can expect this on both ends, but just try to treat each other with respect. Don't say things that you can't come back from. Be mindful of that. As your anger is bubbling over, be mindful of that. If you have children, if you're married, the end of the day, you can overcome anything, but it is a choice. And it's really hard to just not let your anger take over, but it's never a good start for anything. So once you get to that point where, like I said, if you need to take a few days to hear it in pieces, that's totally fine. If you need to take a few days to even hear it at all, that's also totally fine. If you want to do it over text or a phone call and not be in the same room, or a letter, that's totally fine too. There is no right or wrong in that confession, but you have to confess. No more lying, no more covering up, no more just saying what you got caught for. Spill the full tea. Honesty is the number 1, step 1, and keep getting calls from random numbers. Say exactly what was done and for how long, even if it's hard to say or hear. So phase 2, we're getting into that. After you've heard and said and confessed, I know a lot of people can't afford to live apart, but you need to create distance. If you can live apart for a little bit, you are going to need time. Despite what was done, for how long, it's not a breakup. Don't treat it like a breakup. This is time for both of you to reflect on the whys, the hows, how you got to this, what led you to this, what was falling apart in the relationship, what didn't you like. This is thinking and reflecting time. This is not a pass to go out and do more dumb shit. This is not a pass to just run out and start divorce papers. You really have to agree here that you're taking a minute to, one, process what was done to you, or process what you did, and reflect on why you cheated, or process what was done. Figure out the why, how you feel, and be able to express it calmly, and be able to say what you want and need to change, or what you need to do to prevent it from happening again, or to build that trust back. Not only are you taking time in step 2 to reflect on it, that you're coming again back together for another discussion after you've been calm and you thought about it. This is where you say, this is what I was feeling, this is what I was going through. You listen to the other person, they listen to you. This is what I want or need to save this relationship, or to change it, or to prevent it. This is an honest conversation with both of you. Again, try not to make it heated. It should be less heated because you've taken some time. And the amount of time is up to you. If you can move past it in a week, hey, a day, that's up to you. Some people need months, weeks. Don't put pressure on the amount of time, because you really need to sit in that reflect mode so you know what needs changing and how you really feel after the anger and all that has dissipated. Going into step 3, this is where I would suggest starting marriage counseling of some sort, either through your church or professionally, to help assist. You've established the hows and whys and what you feel. They can help you learn better ways to communicate and learn the other person's side without the anger. They walk you through it. I highly suggest it, but it's not mandatory. You have to meet with your feelings and calmly say the truth. If you need more time, this is when I'd be like, you know what, I'm not ready to live together or get back together. I need a little bit more time. Totally fine. Some people decide to live together and continue on as a family and go to counseling. But you have to be really honest and really speak your mind. Don't feel pressure. Don't allow other people to pressure you. Number 4 is step 4 is when you start rebuilding the friendship. This is when you go on date, but there's no sexual activity. It's not about sex things. It's about getting to know each other now, building that strong connection, laughing, moving past what was done and creating new memories. Again, I would not bring the physical part into this. You all change and evolve, and that's a lot of reasons why people cheat. You don't feel like you know each other anymore. You drifted apart. This part is all about coming back together. So step 5, at this point, after you've been hanging out, building your friendship again, if you get to that point where the physical part is influencing it, or you want to be physical, then you know you're ready to step into this part. This is usually when people move back in together. Don't rush it. When you have sex with each other, this has to be 100% agreed that the cheating scandal is behind you, that you have moved on, that you're not going to drag it into another fight. You're not going to continue to make people feel guilty or one-up each other. It has to be completely deaded before you sleep together. When you sleep together, that is your confession and sign that you have moved on, that you are bringing love back into the situation. So don't be physical until you can truly mean that. And again, this is when you would decide whether you're getting back together or not. The last step is establishing those boundaries and those healthy communication skills, and start implementing what you learned and start living for the future you want. I hope this helped. Love you guys.